Archive 004, The Black Tide. November 8, 1981. Official records describe the incident as an industrial contamination caused by an offshore oil spill accident in the North Sea. To the general public, no casualties were officially reported. No emergency declarations were issued, and cleanup operations were never initiated. Recovered Obsidian Horizon records suggest otherwise. The first reports came from local fishermen shortly before sunrise. At approximately 5:40 hours, several boats returning to harbor informed an unusual coloration of the sea several kilometers offshore. Industrial waste occasionally appeared around those places. Nobody thought much of it. Oil spills happened once or twice a year. The explanation seemed reasonable until the boats got closer. The water wasn't just stained black with the dense fuel floating. The matter was so dark that it had no reflections or specks of sea rub on it. You couldn't tell if it was moving at all. One fisherman later said, "It looked like someone had cut a hole into the ocean, and there was only a void in the distance." Several crew members attempted to estimate its size. Nobody agreed. Some believed it ended only a few hundred meters away. Others insisted there was no visible end to it. No photographs from that morning remain. By midday, additional reports arrived from neighboring ports. The black water was still there. Worst, it stopped behaving like water in the ocean. At approximately 1400, one of the fishing crews approached the anomaly. The captain stated that the sea became unnaturally quiet. No wind, waves, or humidity. One of the crew members reached over the side of the boat and touched the border of the black surface. He immediately pulled his hand back. It was completely dry. Then he looked at the water and said, "I think it moved." Nobody else saw anything, at least, not then. The first environmental changes appeared that same night. Thousands of fish washed ashore along nearby beaches. Most showed no visible injuries. Bird populations abruptly abandoned the area. Several boats reported compass failures. Then, that night, the dreams began. The details vary on each case, but the same repeated. Everyone remembered the same dark coastline, a sea of black and something enormous far away, waiting. No one could describe what it looked like, just the sensation. No matter the distance, it felt too close, like reach close. Obsidian Horizon involvement began on November 10th. A survey vessel was dispatched to investigate the anomaly. The crew consisted of 12 experts, between scientists, navigation specialists, communications operators, and one marine biologist. The first day, nothing happened. The black water remained perfectly still in front of the ship. The chemical analysis detected no contamination. Petroleum residues nor known substances were identified. The second day was equally uneventful on the sample-taking part. But several crew members later reported growing discomfort. Some felt they were being watched and repeatedly looked toward the horizon. Nobody could explain why. Then came the third night. At approximately 2:13 local time, every crew member on deck witnessed the same event. The black ocean moved. Not with waves, there was no current. It pulsed, slowly, once, twice, thrice, several seconds apart, but the same intervals, like breathing. The ship's recording equipment malfunctioned. Communications became distorted, and navigation systems failed. Internal clocks lost synchronization. A crew member activated the emergency radio, but only fragments of the transmission remain. The water isn't moving. Static. Something beneath it is. The transmission ends. Communication with the survey vessel was permanently lost. 16 hours later, the ship was located approximately 30 kilometers from its last known position. It had suffered no structural damage, no fire, explosions, or flooding, no signs of struggle. There was no one aboard, completely empty. Meals were packed, equipment remained active. Coffee inside several cups was, still warm. No members of the crew were ever recovered. The final evidence originates from satellite imagery, obtained during the following 48 hours. Investigators initially believed the anomaly was floating on the ocean's surface. The images suggested something else entirely. The black formation possessed a shape, a perfect circle, over 30 kilometers in diameter. Then, it moved, slowly, deliberately, away from the coastline, toward open water, as if something had awakened and decided to leave. The final recovered transmission was discovered inside a damaged radio equipment on the ship. The speaker remains unidentified. The recording quality is poor, however, the statement is considered authentic. I can still see it. The horizon isn't wrong. It's opening. No further communication was received. Official records attribute the incident to an industrial contamination event. Recovered Obsidian Horizon documents indicate no petroleum products were ever detected. The origin of the black formation remains unknown. The missing crew was never found. Satellite tracking ended after the anomaly entered international waters. Archive status, partially recovered. Additional material located. Restoration in progress. Next archive available, Archive 005, The Listening Room. Obsidian Horizon Directorate. We delay the inevitable.